RMS Rhone was commissioned or built in England in a city called Southampton in 1865. She was 310 feet long and she had a 650 horsepower steam engine. She could steam in bad weather at a speed of 14 knots. Built over 150 years ago, this was well ahead of her time. She was also labelled an unsinkable ship, which of course we all know what happens to unsinkable ships. 2 years later, on October 29, 1867, she was anchored off of Great Harbour, Peter Island. Back in those days, hurricane season finished on the 1st of October. We know much better and it runs all the way through November. Saying this, the storm hit. It was one of the strongest storms the BVIs have ever seen. The first half of the storm passed through with very little damage. The eye came right over the top and it went flat calm. The captain of the Rhone, Captain Woolley, decided it was his time to make a run for open ocean. They pulled in their anchors. One of these anchors got caught or fouled on a coral head and they had to let it go. So in only one anchor they had no choice but to make a run for it. So they steamed out towards Salt Island. If you know anything about hurricanes, the second half of the storm is always much stronger than the first. The winds were so powerful it pushed the Rhone against the imaginatively named Black Rock. It hit the side of the island and caused a large gouge down the side of the ship where cold seawater poured into the overworked steam engine. Not a good combination, there was a huge explosion. The bow section sank in deeper water and has been there for over 150 years. The stern section the stern section was left on Salt Island for years to come. Being so close to shore, you would expect there to be a lot of survivors. It's a sad story from a known 157 crew and passengers aboard the Rhone. Only 22 crew and 1 passenger escaped the wreck of the Rhone. The BVI government, in all of their wisdom, decided it was a hazard to navigation. If you know anything about sailing or driving boats, you generally stay clear of islands. Also, they were on all nautical charts. The BVI government, in all of their wisdom, again decided it was a hazard, so they commissioned the Canadian Demolition Squad to get rid of it. Boys with their toys, they loaded her full of dynamite, and they blew her off the rock from the inside out, which for us is fantastic. As we look over the top of it, it's actually the inside of the ship. The inhabitants of Salt Island did all they possibly could to help the people of the Rhone, but there was very little they could do. They collected all the dead and buried them on Salt Island, and you can still visit the cemetery there today, and there's a memorial in Southampton. They also collected the dead's belongings and sent them back to the Queen of England at the time. The Queen of England was so touched by this that she granted a new law. The law stated if you are those who helped or a descendant from those who helped, you only have to pay 1 bag of salt a year. And this law continued on until about 4 years ago. When we're swimming over the inside of the ship, there's some integral parts of the ship you're going to see. The Rhone is a national marine park. You are not allowed to touch anything at all, apart from one section. It's what we call the lucky porthole. What you must do is you must stroke the porthole in a clockwise direction 3 times. The first time is for luck. Why? The 1 passenger who escaped the Rhone escaped out of porthole number 26. The second reason is for love. Why? He was Italian, they love all that jazz. The third reason is so one day you will return to the Rhone. And it works, all the crew have come back. We'll also see the huge bronze propeller with the swim through there. It was one of the first only bronze single engine boat ever built. And that's about it, I think. How's that?
Thank you.
It's a little bit flaky.
Yeah.
A little flaky.
No.